Warren Buffett is no stranger to the world of investing, and he's especially earned a devoted following among investors, many of whom consider him to be the most successful investor the world has ever seen. With his long history of consistently following value investing principles, even Wall Street sways with his investment decisions and follows his lead. He's recently made another big bet, and this move is sending strong ripples across the U.S. stock market. But why exactly is an astute investor like Warren Buffett betting big on oil? And what could this mean for the future of the U.S. stock market? You definitely want to watch this video till the very end, so keep up. Having earned the name the Oracle of Omaha, all thanks to his long track record of picking winners, Buffett has been successfully investing in diverse American businesses and stocks, and across different industries as well, for well over 7 decades. His legendary holding company, Berkshire Hathaway, recently made the headlines in a very big announcement after it acquired an additional $11 billion worth of Occidental Petroleum stock this month, in a move that gives the company and invariably Buffett control of exactly 20.2% of the oil producer. This recent move brings Buffett's oil sector investment to nearly $45 billion, as Berkshire holds another $10 billion worth of preferred Occidental shares that it acquired way back in 2019 when it helped finance the Houston Drillers' purchase of Anadarko. These preferred stocks have since been paying the billionaire 8% in annual dividends, aside from the warrant he also has of the company. Given that Wall Street closely monitors all of Buffett's actions, Occidental Petroleum saw its stock price rise by 3.5% to $62.18 after the announcement was made on the 9th of August. The company has seen its share price more than double this year, following the series of investments by Buffett. Taking advantage of the surge in oil prices, the billionaire has been actively investing in the oil sector in recent months. In the first quarter of this year alone, Buffett bought $20 billion worth of Chevron stock, taking his stake in the company to more than $29 billion, and making Chevron the 4th largest holding in Berkshire's equity portfolio after Apple, Bank of America, and Coca-Cola. He's also been actively buying into Occidental Petroleum for a while now, increasingly acquiring more shares whenever the stock falls below $60 since the turn of the year. But there might be more purchases and announcements on the way, as the billionaire does not seem to be done. Berkshire likewise owns Occidental warrants that'll allow it to buy another 83.9 million Occidental shares at $59.62 per share. Activating these warrants would move Buffett's total oil sector investment even higher. The soaring inflation and interest rates have weighed down the stocks of pretty much every company this year, and for a seasoned investor like Buffett, there's no better time to aggressively invest in the stocks of these companies than while their stock prices are still heavily weighed down by these dual factors. As expected, many investors are already following Buffett's lead and increasingly buying into the stocks of oil sector companies. For context, Berkshire spent more than $51 billion on stocks in the first quarter, a period that saw it become the singular net buyer of more than $3.8 billion in stocks, much of which went into Occidental. This aggressive investment trend, however, slowed down considerably in the second quarter, with the company expected to release details of its total second quarter stock purchases soon. With Berkshire now owning over 20% of Occidental stock, this effectively allows it to record a proportional share of the oil producer's earning on its earnings reports. That'll amount to a rough annual earning of $2 billion. That'll greatly boost Berkshire's bottom line. Despite Berkshire reporting a $44 billion quarterly loss on the weekend that preceded the announcement of its most recent additional stocks acquired from Occidental, Buffett is unfazed by this sharp drop in the paper value of its stock portfolio, and is looking to invest even more money in the oil sector as experts already predict. This recent move already has many Wall Street analysts and investors diligently investigating why the billionaire has suddenly become bullish on oil. Do the falling stock prices explain it all? Especially as his moves greatly contrast the investment direction of many everyday Wall Street investors who are largely trending toward green tech. At the peak of the global crude price dip in June, a period that saw Occidental stock prices drop by over 15%, Buffett used this dip as an opportunity to buy more of the company's stock. He bought shares of Occidental to the tune of $696 million in a space of just 2 days, and in a move that saw Berkshire Hathaway's volume of the company's share rise to about 175.4 million shares. With the apparent state of the oil sector and global oil prices, oil companies are widely considered by Buffett to have a lot of catching up to do, especially as oil commodities take an unusually long time to reprice. In a recent interview, Buffett did admit that his increased oil sector investment goes beyond the price outlook, but is more on the premise of valuation. Being the traditional value investor that he is, this admittance is in direct congruence with the investment principles that have always guided his investment decisions for decades. So, despite the plummeting prices, Buffett's investments are still more growth and value focused than just based on momentum. He also admits that there is an element of margin of safety in the oil sector, another vital reason behind why Berkshire Hathaway has been aggressively building up its stakes in several oil companies in the ongoing dip. Buffett is spreading his bets. And while he might be unbothered about the new age of electric vehicles, he's fully aware of the disruption that they'll cause to the traditional hydrocarbons industry, as are already becoming apparent. Interestingly, he also has investments in EVs, his earliest dating back to as far as 2008, when he invested in a Chinese EV maker by the name of BYD, as he's likewise expressed in several interviews. Buffett strongly believes that despite the hype around EVs, fossil fuels will not be replaced anytime soon. Buffett made his billions by being a contrarian investor and always remained detached from the crowd. While global oil prices became highly spiked at the onset of the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, it became very obvious that the world hasn't weaned itself off of oil and gas as much as it would like to believe. Crude oil prices rose to a peak of around $130 per barrel in early March, further buttressing the fact that the transition to clean energy won't happen overnight, or as soon as climate activists hope. For as long as the world uses fossil fuels, there will continue to be a need for traditional energy companies. Oil and gas stocks have also consistently outperformed the market in 2022, and Occidental shares have soared by 100% since the start of the year, making it one of the top performers in the S&P 500. All other fundamentals of the company have essentially been excellent, and are likewise another major reason for Buffett's big bet. The company made record profits in the second quarter of 2022, beating its earnings estimates according to reports it released on August 2nd, less than a week before Buffett purchased his most recent shares. The company reported earnings of $3.16 per share, an 888% year-on-year increase. Its revenue likewise rose by 81% to $10.7 billion after sales jumped 56% to just over $8.5 billion in the first quarter alone. Occidental's second quarter performance was likewise strong and very high earnings were recorded. These high earnings were largely fueled by increased oil prices, especially as its oil production volumes remained in line with guidance and unchanged. It's unclear if energy stocks will continue to outperform the market, as this depends largely on how long sanctions against Russia will last, but Buffett is optimistic. It's also unclear if negotiations could birth a settlement that'd bring the war in Ukraine to an end soon. Nonetheless, the tailwinds of the aftermath of a settlement will continue to bolster the stocks of oil and gas producers like Occidental, with the S&P's energy sector being its top performer in 2021 following a 53% gain. It is up another 32% already this year and continues to significantly outperform the broader market's 7.4% decline. With these great results for Occidental Petroleum and the sector as a whole, Warren Buffett is clearly betting that the oil boom isn't going to end anytime soon, and we might see more oil sector investment from the seasoned investor as it's already being anticipated. Make sure to give this video a like, hit the subscribe button, and smash the notification bell to receive updates on when we post more intriguing stories about global finance and investing.